SAS, throttle up. I said SAS. Launch in 3, 2. Well, that countdown could have been better. Tip over a little tiny bit on launch, just to get the aerodynamics working. If it starts wanting to go in a different direction right after launch, then it's almost impossible to figure it out, so you kind of have to tip it into going where you want to go from the very beginning. If it wants to go east, it's going east. So this time we're ascending a little steeper. I'm going to aim for a little above 45 degrees at the 10,000 mark. And my time to apoapse is significantly higher this time. Little off the east mark. Good. Now let's go for the 45 degree. It's fighting me a little, doesn't quite want to go to the east. And staging. Good. Things are feeling a little better now. So we're going to hit, let's say 75 apoaps, and hopefully we'll have enough DV to hit orbit. Good, that looks right. So let's wait until we get up to, say, 30 seconds to peri or to apoapse. And then once we're at that point, make our orbital insertion burn is the term. And 27 seconds and throttle up. Now, if I want to increase time to apoapse, I tip up away from the horizon. If I want to decrease it, I tip toward the horizon. If I start to go below about 10 seconds, I'll start to tip up. It's more efficient to burn as close to the horizon as possible. Might actually be able to do this. Yeah, I'm getting 1600 meters per second and I have 1000 left. I need 2300-ish. Time to apoapse is going up. Let's tip down a little. Don't be afraid to go down below the horizon a little bit or to just throttle down the engines. Well, not obviously, but the closer to apoapse that you do your burn, the more efficient it's going to be at raising your periapsis, which at this moment is 24,000. If it's in the planet, you want to do it as quickly as possible, but still do it as close to apoapse as you can. So we have a 83 by 79 stable orbit with still 500 dV of fuel left. Excellent. I probably should have ejected these beforehand, though. Waste heat, still good. Well, I have enough delta V that I think I can comfortably jettison these into the atmosphere. So let's turn around. Oh, I'm glad I stuck in that extra reaction wheel because this can turn around pretty decently if I do say so myself. So, burn to drop apoaps, or periaps into the atmosphere, let's say 50. And I want to dump them without changing their periaps or apoaps. If I do that by going halfway between periaps and apoaps, and rotating so that they no, I want to go I do want to go orthogonal to the direction of travel, but I don't want to make them faster or slower than my orbit. So I probably want to go straight up. And actually I can just stage. Pow. No, that was miscalculated. That one's going to be in a slightly higher orbit, and that one's going to be in a slightly lower orbit, but it should be enough for both of them to get back to Kerbin. You know, eventually. Extend panels. Let's get this facing north to make it easier to dock with. So the next step will be to attach a moon lander vehicle and a moon return vehicle. You know, just in case Jebediah wants to get away from the other two people in the lab. And we want the lander vehicle and the return vehicle to be approximately the same weight, just to make the trip out easier. And that's kind of ugly. Stuck a bunch of struts on there. And on the way up, I'm going to want to deliver 2 of those fuel tanks full, plus whatever's in the lander. That was slightly poorly planned. No. Okay, that's going to clip a little, but we can live with that. How are we for communications? It has the short-range ComSat. Okay, I am going to have to put another communication satellite in orbit if I do anything unmanned, but I'm not planning to do anything unmanned. This is all going to be a moon biome survey mission anyway. Alright. Station 1. These vectoring engines aren't as efficient as I'd like them to be, but whatever. I could probably have put washers on those docking ports too in hindsight, and that would have allowed me to rotate any attached vehicles. I can still put washers on the vehicles, assuming they don't weigh too much. Well, anyway. We have power, we have life support. We're good. So, to the vehicle assembly building. Well, that was slightly poorly planned. What? Decaying orbit? I need to do something about that. But right now, time to apoapse 4 minutes. Flight computer. I like flight computer. Perfect. So 3.91 inclination. And give me a So let's skim you just above the atmosphere until we can catch up. We are, thanks to that botch, pretty far behind, but we have a lot of delta V. Might actually be faster to slingshot around. And do a high velocity intercept in 52 minutes. It's actually really good. If I burn opposite the yellow marker from the purple marker, I push it toward the target. That's where I'm heading away from. So we just need to keep it on there. And if I keep doing this, I'll slow down as well. Flew right past it. Definitely need to zero out the velocity. And 100 meters. And good, now we're in matching orbits. Let's use our, oh, we don't have autopilot. Okay. Okay. Rotate the docking port to the target. Orient to north. Good. And rotate a little more. Turn on RCS, and I've never used the translation before, but this should be pretty straightforward. We set the target. Line ourselves up with the docking port. If anybody's watching this, you'll notice that I'm not using docking mode. I am actually using the alternate keys. Whoops. So I can simultaneously do both. And there we go. Now, let's turn off RCS and rotate a little bit. Don't want to waste the fuel. How are we? RCS on. Oh, downward a little. And upward a little. And forward. Control from here. Now, upward a little. Was kind of lucky, actually. Oh hey, apparently I got an achievement. Huzzah. So, now I just need something of approximately equal weight on the other side. Now I wish I'd kept that docking washer. Still, I don't need the engines on this thing, so it's not going to be thrusting asymmetrically. As long as it weighs approximately the same amount, which I believe was 7.4 tons, then we should be just fine. Let's shut down that engine. Gonna want to make 2 trips up to... Actually, let's just keep everything in there. So I'm gonna make one. I'm gonna want to make 1 trip up to fuel, and another trip up with a return vehicle, which will also have 1 Kerbal on it, bringing the total up to 3, a pilot and 2 people for the lab. Cool. How's my waste heat? I do have a little bit of waste heat. I wonder if that will eventually go away. Well, no problem. I'll just add a radiator to the return vehicle. I do not currently have a connection. Well, that's quite enough for today.